Hi there folks, welcome back to Rich Reviews. I thank everyone who's subscribing, commenting, liking. I like everything you've been doing. Help me get more subscribers, help me get more likes. Please folks, I'm gentle. So the next TV show that I'm gonna do is The Expanse Season 1, and The Expanse Season 2 is coming out in February. This is based off a series of novels I guess is relatively popular enough for them to make into a TV show. So it's set approximately 200 years into the future, in which humanity has started to colonize the solar system. Currently, Earth is run by the UN. The UN-run Earth has a strained relationship with Mars. I guess people that live in the belt area, I guess, where the people live on the smaller planetoid asteroids, they're called the Belters, and they don't really care for Mars or Earth, they just want to be left alone in general. And more of them return to the OPA, which is a terrorist organization. Which, there you go, they always turn to terrorist organizations in the future. The first story here involves the Canterbury, which is a nice ship in the future. Who knew ISO, which is such a hot commodity in the future? They receive a help call from the Scapuli. In these uncertain times, basically anytime you receive a distress call, it's usually pirates trying to get after your own set of cargo. Holden, played by Stephen Strait, decides to go after the call, along with engineer Naomi, played by Dominique Tripper. Also Amos, played by Wes Chisholm. Alex Kamos, played by Kas Anwar. Who's a pilot. They go searching for it. Well, unfortunately, the Canterbury is then attacked by unknown forces and the ship is destroyed. Holden and his crew are then picked up by a Mars naval ship, in which they obviously believe that Mars attacked them for some unknown reason. The Mars naval ship denies this, and eventually the Mars ship comes under attack by the unknown force that attacked the Canterbury. It basically destroys the Mars ship, and Holden and his crew eventually make it out of there, so two ships are destroyed, in which Holden makes it out, and his crew make it out alive. They're then contacted by Fred Johnson, who is the head of the OPA, who is working on Tycho Station. Holden and his crew reluctantly trust Johnson to get them where they're going, but Johnson sends them out to find a ship near Eros, which happens to be the Anubis, which happens to have secret stealth technology and also has some really odd thing growing at its reactor, which happens to be directed towards energy somehow. There's also a survivor of the Scapuli that apparently left the ship named Milo Polanski, and they go off to Eros. The second story here involves Joe Miller, played by Thomas Jane. He's a detective. He grew up on Ceres, and Ceres is not a really great place because everyone lives underground, obviously. Whatever level you're on, it depends on how well you have it, primarily. Some of the lower levels are pretty much disgusting. And he's a cop. He's then assigned to find Julia Mao, a daughter of a wealthy industrialist, and eventually go bad to worse on Ceres because they rely on water, and water is a hot commodity as well as technology, and basically after the Canterbury attack, that whole thing goes to shit. And people obviously there blame Mars, because, who doesn't want to blame Mars for trouble in the future? Miller then realizes, that Julie was OPA, and the local OPA contact, Dawes, played by Jared Harris, of all people, who was really doing a ridiculous accent, tries to convince Miller, hey, don't really find this person, find this other person who attacked your partner, and clearly being dropped out of aircraft is popular in the future as well. Miller then uncovers what Julie was after, or what Julie was involved with. He tries to take to the superiors, but they're not interested, and they fire Miller. He then heads to Eros. Third principal storyline here involves UN executive Christian Nasrallah, played by Shashora Abdashlu, and she's trying to figure out what does Holden have to do with all this, what does Fred Johnson have to do with all this, and she's trying to connect the dots here, but her bosses aren't interested, although that for the time being they're trying to be interested. She comes to realize, this is one giant conspiracy headed by James Mao, played by Francois Chow, who happens to be Julie's father here. Here's the thing, folks. First of all, I think Sci-Fi has done some amazing leaps and bounds. I remember watching them in the 90s. They were doing some weird alien shows in the 90s, which I don't really think worked, and they did some really TV shows. I think in the era of peak TV, it's really have to mind stuff that I think works, and it's like clearly, again, this season is apparently based off half of the first book of this series, and I think to myself, okay, clearly this must be a great series to read. I don't know why Sci-Fi chose this series. It's like, okay, so one industrialist decides, okay, I'm going to start a war between three factions and I'm going to make a profit out of it. We've seen variants of that particular theme time and time again. And also when Holt and his crew cross paths with Miller, it's like, okay, no, there's nothing special here. It's like, you know, again, I like Thomas Jane, I like Francois Chow, again, who doesn't want to think, okay, I'm the Darwin Initiative person here. Apparently, in Season 2, we're getting the Mars perspective, and maybe, again, that will help a lot. But the special effects here aren't all that impressive. I mean, other things I find out about this series is that twice during the series, two different people are actively discussing what is going on, and at least one time, someone says, isn't this all convoluted? Yeah, it could be convoluted. Though it's a genius to exploit three different sides in order for your company to gain a profit. I'm just curious. They try to show some lives of the Builders who clearly want to get Mars off their backs. Again, we've seen variant themes of this before in other films or TV shows. So folks, what did you think about the first season of The Expanse? Did you happen to like it? Did you happen to care for it at all? Let's put that in the comment section below. Did you happen to read these novels and what they're based off of? Do you like Thomas Jane as an actor? Put all that in the comment section, folks, below. As always, folks, like, comment, subscribe. If you want to see this hands to face again, subscribe as well. I'll catch you next time, folks.